Sometimes your most magical doll makeover starts with a mistake, or two. This was supposed to be a beginner-friendly Blythe restyle, but things definitely did not go according to plan. Hi friends, in today's video, I'm taking on a makeover project with this beautiful Blythe-based doll, and let me just say, this one was a journey. I'll walk you through how I'm carefully disassembling her, prepping her face, and replace her eye chips. But right around the face-up stage, things start to go off the rails, hairs in the sealant, patchy color, and even plastic melting right under my cotton ball. It was one of those classic everything is harder while filming moments, so I hit pause on the camera, took a breath, and decided to finish off screen. But here's the twist, those mishaps gave me the perfect opportunity to try something I've never dared before, carving her lips. I'll show you how I salvaged the project, added adorable fantasy eyes, bunnies included, and gave her a sweet, dreamy outfit, and most importantly, found the courage to take my customizing to a whole new level. This isn't a tutorial, I'm still learning myself, but it's an honest look at the process, mistakes and all, and I hope it inspires you to keep going, even when your makeover takes a detour. So the first step is to put something soft down on the table so that we're not smashing her face into the desk, and you need a Phillips screwdriver to remove the 3 screws from the back of the head. You want to set those aside. I like adding them to tape and taping them down to something in the order that they come out of the doll's head, just in case the screws are different. The next process is to separate the head into 3 parts. You want to use quite a bit of force on the side of the head, pushing down, and it will cause the head to click open and in half. You want to be careful, use caution, and keep in mind that there's always the chance that you can completely destroy your doll while doing any kind of a makeover process, and do this at your own risk. I have never cracked or broken one of the doll heads, even with all of the force and things that it takes, so I've gained a bit of confidence in the little over a year that I've been doing it. I don't plan on keeping the spring and having the spring-loaded eyes. The way the eyes work out of the factory is that there's just the one cord, you pull it and they pop open, pop open, pop open, and there's no way to leave the eyes closed so that they look like they're asleep. One of the fun things about this process is that we can add a fun decorative cord. If you want to reuse the spring, you'll want to be really careful and get that bent back into shape if you want it to work like it originally did. I'm not. I'll be adding a second cord. I like having one decorative cord and then keeping the original pull cord for the one that rotates the eye chips. It just makes it, for me, so much easier to keep it straight, which cord is which. And I find when I have 2 beaded cords that they're always tangled together. So anyhow, it's just a personal preference for me, and it's my style. The next step is I want to remove the hair cap from the front of the face, and there's another screw in here that I'm reaching in. It's also a Phillips, and removing that. That screw is definitely a different size than the others, and I like to just leave it stuck into the head. I just loosen it up enough to remove the cap, and then leave it there in place. Then I don't have to worry about it. And there's a good look at the top with the hair, which I'd tied back to keep it out of the way from our work. We are making good progress with our disassembly here. The next step is to remove the eyes and the string cord from the eyes. The cord still has the back of the head attached to it, since it's going through the back of the head. And this is important when we're putting it back together, which I did not show you. If I get some encouragement in the comments or if this video does well, then I'll share the next Blythe doll. I'm excited to try it again. Like I said at the beginning, because things had gone wrong and I needed to get out the sandpaper and sand the face anyways, that finally gave me the bravery to try some face carving. And so I'll be doing some of that. I do some carving on the upper lip, making the upper lip bigger and more round, less thin and pointy. You'll see when I'm all done, I have some close-up pictures of the finished doll. So once we get that done, you just untie the eye cord from where it's attached. We have one last screw to take out. Some of the times I forget this, and it's a miracle I haven't broken anything, because I'll yank the eyes out without removing the piece that holds it in place. Take this screw out and the little lever underneath it. This is an important part that allows the eyes to rotate and for the eye mechanism to work. And you cannot lose that little white bar. People like to sometimes maybe shave the end off of the white bar to have them looking slightly up and less straightforward, which can be fun. I've tried that once and it's pretty scary. The smallest amount that I was able to shave off made a pretty dramatic difference in the doll's eyes. And it's one I was making to keep for myself. This one I had intended to make to sell for my Etsy shop. And I haven't listed her yet, but usually if I make them with the intent to sell, I'm pretty good at following through. I am a little attached since she's the first face carving I've done. So we'll just see how that goes. But anyways, if you're interested in purchasing this doll, let me know. Reach out to me on my Etsy shop. There's links on the homepage for my YouTube. So to get the eye mechanism out of the front of the face, which is important if you plan on painting the face, which I do, and replacing the eye chips, which I also plan to do. So here's some of the custom eye chips that I've made. And then I can't find my blank glass chips. We were going to make a bunch of glass eyes on this. I had to order more glass eye chips because I can't find mine anywhere. And they're cheap. It's like $3 for 50 pairs, something like that. It's not expensive. So I just bought some more. But we'll also need some glue sticks. The best way that I've seen to remove the eyes is adhering glue sticks to the end of the eyes, and I'll show that. And we'll even start the face up before things go off the rails here. I'm just holding the glue stick in place until it has a chance to cool enough that it's stuck to the eye. I find that catching it on fire does seem to work well to get it nice and soft. And then you patiently hold it firmly against the eye. You don't want it loosely attached. We want this thing firmly attached to the eye chip because what we're trying to do is to create a handle on the eye chip that we can use to yank it out. Some of the chips will come out so easy, I'll wonder why I even bothered attaching the glue. They just seem to practically fall out. And then at least one, for this doll, 2 of them just did not want to come out. One is the one where the glue ran over the white of the doll's eyes and everything, that one here. That one was the last one to come out. It took me 4 or 5 tries before I could get the glue stuck on there well enough that it would pull the eye out, the eye chip. But I sit there, I'll do 2, maybe 4 at a time. Just get them melted and stuck on there and then let it sit and cool and adhere, sometimes in the refrigerator if I'm feeling impatient. For the purposes of the video, I was just going to let it sit and cool, work on the face up, pluck them out, and then by the time the face up was done, I would have eventually plucked all of the eye chips out, and then we would have put the eye chips back in. When I replaced the eye chips, I used just the smallest amount of white glue on just one side, just one drop on one side of the eye, just barely attaching it to the mechanism so that if I do want to replace or change the eye chips out again, that it'd be really easy to pop them out. I don't glue them in there really, really securely, making that easier. So once those are on there well enough that I feel that I can set it down, I do. Then I set it off to one side. There we go. And then now we're ready to do the other ones. It just goes faster there's 4 sets of eye chips in here. So if we work at them 2 at a time, especially if you understand that some of them are not going to pop out on the first try, that it'll take you multiple tries. But be patient. And this is definitely working on the Blythe dolls, is a trust the process. Just trust the process and keep going. And then if things go horribly wrong, maybe something exciting will happen. That's what happened for me. I like when that happens. I don't know if this happens to you. In a crafting project, if things go wrong or something happens, I like to use that as an excuse to pivot and make it even better. Just to turn the negative into a positive. That's just a favorite thing I love to do. And to me, it makes the project even more exciting. Definitely that's what happened today because I was just really nervous when the people talk about carving the Blythe faces. They talk about how you have to sand that face so smooth that the paint won't hang out, or the pan pastel, the powder. Because a lot of the decoration of the face is done with powders. They'll gather up in it, just like makeup would in wrinkles or creases. It'll just gather up into any little scratches or anything. And I heard the truth of that. So I was pretty nervous to do any carving. And I was, until today, or until this day, I was just repainting the face, overpainting the lips, and, changing the colors, doing the eyebrows the way I like them. Some of the Blythe dolls don't even come with eyebrows. A lot of them come with super shiny faces. And so, the first step is just to mattify the face with the Mr. Super Clear, the matte sealant, MSC, Mr. Super Clear, that all of the customizers use. So I've watched a lot of the other customizing channels, and then I haven't really counted how many I've made, but I would say about a dozen, give or take a couple dolls here. I've probably customized about a dozen Blythe dolls. So the biggest, most dramatic thing that you can do without wiping the face or doing anything at all is just to change the eye chips and then maybe give it a super cute outfit. That's huge right there. You don't have to, when you start customizing, do anything other than that. If you want to, then that can be fun and exciting. I recommend building up some confidence on like the little BJD bunnies or something smaller and maybe less expensive than a Blythe doll, less intimidating. Even if it's not less expensive, maybe less intimidating. And speaking of the cost of these Blythe dolls, since the talk of tariffs has happened, the prices over on AliExpress for the base Blythe dolls, the Neo Blythe dolls that they sell there, has at least doubled what it used to be. So the darkest skin tone always cost more. Before they were about $25 each. And then now they're around $55, $60 each, the base dolls. All right. So I'm adding, I like trying new things, knowing that I could just wipe it off and start over if I want. So I thought I would try a dramatic eyeshadow look. I'm winging it out a little to one side, trying things I've never tried before while I'm trying to film the tutorial. Maybe not the best plan. Maybe sticking to something routine, keeping it simple. That probably would have been a good idea. There are tons of tutorials on these Blythe customizing, but if you want to watch, me stumble around doing it instead of somebody who's polished about it, maybe that's more fun. It makes me, when I watch videos like that, it makes it feel more like, well, that's something I can do. Look, she's not perfect. She's having problems and she still got it done. Right? So here's where I'm starting to notice there's something weird on the eye there. It looks kind of crusty and chunky, and I haven't figured out yet that I didn't wait 20 minutes after painting the Mr. Super Clear, and this is why I'm having problems. I haven't figured it out. I'm like, it's just like a weird little crusty, like there's sleep around the corner of her eyes or something. So this is where I'm starting to notice there's problems, but I'm thinking that I can work through it. I'm just gonna pick through that. I'm gonna try to sand that spot a little with the towel, hope through some layers. Maybe freckles can always be a good way to go if you end up with some weird splotchy spots. Just give your doll freckles. I like freckles anyways. I was thinking about giving her freckles, so I was like, okay, well, the freckles plan is on then. But yeah, I wonder why, and I like to think about these things. Why is it? Why is it that I have more problems and challenges when I'm filming? One of the things is that I'm reaching out my arms and I'm not working like over my lap. Normally I like working over my lap, like hunched over my work. And when I'm filming, I have my arms extended out. The other thing is that I seem to get in my head some sort of, is it performance anxiety? Or I'm not sure what it is, but I start overthinking things. I also tend to like rush, and not really important for these doll customizings is that you need to be patient. Compared to my other projects that take days, weeks, 30, 40 hours, these are not bad. These are fun, fast projects, again, compared to some of my other hobbies. So, being patient just means waiting 15, 20 minutes between layers of Mr. Super Clear. doing enough layers of Mr. Super Clear so you've preserved something that you've done that you've liked before you move on, so that you don't accidentally mess up something that was done that you liked, when you move on. It also seals in each layer, allowing you to back up a step. Back up, it's like saving your game. That Mr. Super Clear layer is like saving your game. You can return back to where you saved the face with a layer of Mr. Super Clear and then start over. We can see this face is not looking really cute. It depends on your style. Maybe it is looking really cute. Some people like a really dark, I would call it more of a muddy face up look with lots of dark colors, and we're achieving that here. You can go over it several times, wipe it, go back over it, wipe it, go back over it. The more times you do that, more color will get stuck in the cracks and creases, and it will give that, I don't know if muddy is the best way, but it gives it that deep, richer, darker makeup or face up effect on your doll. And this is a good time, or really too late, to bring up planning. You don't want to start planning when you're here, your project. If you plan your project sooner, the colors that you're going to use, your outfit, your eye chips, things like that, that definitely helps things to go better. And part of the planning is doing some research. I like going on Instagram and looking up the different Blythe dolls and then saving the post or screenshotting images of my favorite face ups. If I wrote, there's some that I don't like, and then maybe take a screenshot or two of that and pinpoint what I didn't like about it. And when I say I don't like it, I mean, it's just not my style. It's cute, but it's not, I don't like the ones that are muddy and dark. That's not the aesthetic that I prefer. And here we are. She's all done. She's been redressed. She has her custom cord attached. This is a look at the fantasy eyes. They're little bunny rabbits that are each holding a carrot. And I put those over the top of a giant pupil in her eye chip. You can see that I've modified the upper lip to be quite a bit bigger than it was before. Got little tights, cute little shoes, a little feathery dress. Super sweet. She came with an extra set of hands. They're not a great match for the body. This often happens when I get the dolls, that the hands don't match the bodies. So when I throw in the extra set of hands, I know what I can do. If you're interested, let me know. I can go through and do some body blushing on this doll or on the next project. I would love some encouragement to bring you along for the next project. I think with practice, it will become easier to customize while filming and share the process with you. I think that making your own mini me Blythe doll can be a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun making mine, and you don't have to do the face up at all. Just changing out the eye chips can be really fun and exciting and give your doll a whole new, super cute look. Thanks so much for joining me on this wild Blythe ride today. It definitely wasn't the video I planned, but I'm so proud of how it turned out. If you've ever had a project go sideways but still end up teaching you something amazing, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your story. And if you enjoyed watching this not-so-perfect process, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss the next doll adventure. Stick around till the very end. I've taken quite a few close-up photos of the doll so you can get a good look at all of the details. I've got more makeovers coming, and now that I've tried carving, there's no going back. I can't wait to customize my next Blythe doll. As always, thank you so much for watching. Happy doll hunting, and please have a wonderful day.